This is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar for Friday, October 17th, 2025, which is Yom Shishi, 6th day of the week, 25 Tishrei, 5786, and the Parsha of the week is Bereshit, or Bereshis, depending on your pronunciation. The first Parsha of the week, first Parsha meaning of the cycle of weekly Torah readings. And this cycle is almost completed. This is a 3-month period. So it started in Av. So in Av, Elul, Tishrei is almost done. And as far as Tishrei goes, it's in the 10-day twilight period. It means these are 80 in the last 10 days. We're in the 25, so it's the 5th day of the 10-day twilight period. So, and that would be, the coordinate for that would be E11. And we are, in terms of the Gregorian calendar, we are on box number, the number is 14. And we're almost done with this cycle as well. So that would be like 76, 77, 78, no, 77, 78, 79, 80. So we box number 77 would be 14. 77 if you count from here, because there are 80 boxes, so it's square number 77, but it's box number 14, meaning if you counted 77 boxes from the top, you're going to get to this place, but what's actually printed in this box is number 14, because it doesn't go by ones, it goes by 8 plus 9, for reasons explained in the past and probably in the future, but not right now. So 14. The way this works, it's a Gematriatic quantum thought calendar, is that when you look at the box, your mind registers Gematriatic thoughts. That's the idea of it. So it was on Simchat Torah in Israel, Shmini Atzeret, the 8th day of the holiday, the 8th day meaning 7 days of Sukkot, and then Shmini Atzeret, the 8th day, and Simchat Torah is the same day. Outside of Israel, it's 2 days. But so it was on that day, Shmini Atzeret or Simchat Torah, that this Gematriatic idea came to me, and it had to do with the number 14. A very special number 14 idea, and it has to do with something. The topic is called the Torah codes, and some of you may be familiar with Torah codes. Torah codes is based on this idea called ELS or ELSS, equidistant letter sequence or equidistant letter skip sequence, which when you analyze the Torah, you put the Torah in a computer screen, all the letters are just straight. There's no punctuation or verse breaks or anything like that. It's just letters, a string of letters, or whatever. And there are exact skip sequences. Like, for example, if you do every 7 letters, you'll get this letter, and then it's 7 letters, and then it spells out a word. Now, I think that's, and many have found that this is absolutely astounding, that, okay, anyone could just spell any word out by jumping letters, but to have an exact equidistant, that's what it's called, equidistant, the exact number of skip sequences, exact spell out this word, and some really amazing results happen. And so I found one of these Torah codes on Simchat Torah, which is the word Ruth and the word Boaz. And it has to do with 14 for a different reason, because 14 has to do with David, because David is Gematria 14. Daled and Daled is 4, Daled is 4, and Vav is 6, so that's 14. So there's an obvious connection between Boaz, Ruth, and David. He's their descendant. And there are other connections to 14, but we'll leave it at that for now. But what I found was very interesting. If you go, the first letter of the Torah is a bet, right? It's a base. But if you go, the first resh, the second letter of the Torah is a resh. The first letter is a base, but what I meant to say was the second letter is a resh. But if you go to the second resh, start from the second resh. So the resh in the word bara, reshit bara. If you go to the word bara, and I'll just count it here in front of everyone so we can all see it. If you go to this resh in bara, okay, and you count 14 letters, you're going to come to a vav. And if you count another 14 letters, you're going to come to a taf. Let's count. Resh. Okay. Resh, you always count, you always start one, the next one over. Like resh is like, that's ground zero, so now let's count. The next one is an aleph. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so the first, so the resh in bara, count 14 letters, takes you to the vav in the word ve'et, as in ve'et Hashem, ve'et ha'aretz. Okay, let's count. So now 14. Okay, let's count again from the vav. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 comes to a taf in the word haita. So the resh in bara, count 14 letters, you get the vav in the word ve'et. Count 14 more letters, you get the taf in the word haita. That spells root, which is the Hebrew word for Ruth. So you see that there's an equidistant letter skip sequence of 14 letters for the word Ruth. And the question is this by accident or is this not by accident? Is this just a mere coincidence and it's like the monkey in the typewriter thing, just splashed a bunch of ink and all of a sudden came to Shakespeare? Or is it more plausible that there is some intelligence behind this and there was an intention behind this and someone wanted us to know, wanted us to find this, and what would the suggestion be that Ruth happens right here in the beginning and happens at intervals of exactly 14 letters? You can count it yourself. Count from the first resh in bara, and then count the resh. There's only one resh in bara. So the resh in bara, count the next letter is letter number 1. So the aleph is 1, then the aleph is 2, the lamed is 3, like that. Count 14 letters. So come to the vav in ve'et. Count 14 more letters. So come to the taf in haita. So why would, for those who are more spiritually inclined, it would say that this is a divine intention, what would Hashem or God's intention be by putting these 14 letters? Okay, I spent a lot of time on Ruth, but let's go to Boaz. Okay, if you go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 11, and then you go to, in that verse, it talks about, it's in day 3 of creation, the first Tuesday or day 3 of creation. In the pasuk of Vayomer Elohim tidasheh haaretz deshe esev mazria zera eitz pri ose pri lemino asher zaro bo al haaretz vayhi chen. Okay. In pasuk in Genesis 1:11, in pasuk 11, verse 11, go to the word esev, which means grass or herb or grass or something. Yeah, I think it means grass, but so go to the bet here. Okay, there's a bet. The last letter in. So bet. If you're learning Hebrew, you might say it's a bet or a vet. It's the same letter. Because in the Torah scroll There's no dagesh, there's no dot there. There's no difference between a bet or a vet. You just have to know when it's a bet or a vet. But anyway, go to the bet in the word Asev and count 14 letters. Let's count. Bet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What do you know? I get an ayin. I get an ayin in the word oseh, which means to make or to do. Which is talking about the grass. Deshe is grass, I think. Asev is herb. One or the other. Asev mazriya zera, that brings forth seed. Eighth pri, a fruit tree, that oseh pri, that makes, that brings forth fruit. Okay, so the ayin in the word oseh is exactly 14 letters away from the bet in Asev. Okay, now let's continue. We're up to ayin, so that's 14. Okay, let's count again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What do you know? I come to a zayin in the word zaro, which means his seed or its seed. Asher zaro bo, that its seed is in it. Zaro. Okay? So there's another equidistant letter skip sequence that you spell the word Boaz. Now, if you read the book of Ruth, you know the story of Boaz. He was like the leader in the tribe of Judah, and he was an elder person at the time, but he married Ruth. You can read about it in the book of Ruth, and because of their union came King David, and ultimately will come the Messiah. So what do you think? Here's the question. I'll leave this as an open question. As what do you think is being suggested to us by this equidistant letter skip sequence that very early on in Genesis chapter 1, we encounter Ruth and Boaz at exact intervals of 14. The 14 is important, and the names are important. And why did I bring up this topic? Because of the Gematriatic, the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Plot Calendar. Why? Because today is box 14, and it reminded me of that idea. That's how this should work. Thanks for listening, and Shabbat Shalom.